yeah, I just kind of want to recap for those who haven't been here before or were with us last quarter. I know I see some new faces here and some familiar ones too, so super stoked to see y'all here. But what we went through last quarter was the Good Shepherd. We were able to kind of just explore who the shepherd is, who God is, who and what makes up the flock. Who are the lost? Like who? Yeah, exactly. And then we were able to touch on some of the gospel, dip our toes in the pool of that, and kind of dive deeper into what this community ethic is all about. So we were able to touch on those things last quarter. But this quarter, we are going to be exploring the theme, Emmanuel, God with us. And yeah, so pretty exciting. For some of you guys, you might be thinking Emmanuel, oh my gosh, wasn't this last season? Yes, it was. It was Christmas season. But we're bringing it back because Emmanuel, God with us is a kind of every season kind of thing, right? It's not a thing that we dwell on in Christmas time, which is awesome, and we celebrate the birth of Jesus, and it's super exciting. But we often forget when we go into the new year of God with us, Emmanuel. He's not just a Christmas thing, but a year-round thing. He's in every season. So we're going through that, and I have a hard time understanding what exactly Emmanuel, God with us, and I think most of you have maybe been in a spot in that too, and if you're just exploring Christianity and whatnot, it's kind of, in my opinion, I feel like sometimes I see God as a very distant God. I can't physically see him. I don't feel him. I don't see him, whatnot. And I struggle with that. And I also I always ask the question of God, where are you in this situation, or where are you in that situation, and whatnot. And I don't know if you guys relate to me on that, but that's something I struggle with, even though being in faith for so long. But if you are, exploring this concept for the first time, or in the same boat in faith and God being with you is a hard concept to grasp. Kind of want to share a quick story that kind of helped me get acquainted with the idea Emmanuel, God with us forever kind of thing. So here's my story. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I have 2 nephews. So on the slideshow, I have a 4-year-old nephew, which is the one I'm holding hands with, and then I have a 2-year-old nephew. He's there, and we're at Night Creamery getting some cream, and we are, the 4-year-old Wesley, that's his name, Wesley. He is just the most sensitive person in the world. One of my favorite things is. For those who know me, I'm a very physical touch person. That's one of my biggest love languages. And so Wesley, over break, he came over. The whole family was over, and I was just sitting alone on the couch, eating, away from my family. And he comes up to me and he's like. Okay, so yi means aunt in Cantonese for my Canto folks. And he comes up to me and he's like, yi, do you want to cuddle? And I'm like, yeah. We're cuddling on the couch and we're talking about Legos and just sensitive, right? So just get that in your brain, sensitive. And then Charlie, this sassy pants of a boy. Love the boy. He's still trying to figure himself out at this point. He's so sassy, but one of my favorite things about him right now is that he throws away his own diaper after you change it. Right? So independent 2-year-old second child syndrome. After you change him, he picks it up and then he goes to the trash can, does this, and then lets it go in there. So very sweet nephews, and one of my favorite things that they do is they actually come to Slow. So hence Night Creamery, they were in Slow
we go to the park. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this park. It's called the Sandsheimer Park. It's the best park in the world. It's like so tall, like the slides are incredible, the hills are so good to slide down with your cardboard. And there's a massive zip line, and I know you guys are all excited because I am talking about it. So this is Sandsheimer, and it's like one of our favorite things that we like to do. And so Charlie over here, we need to keep an eye on him because he's independent. And so there's this thing that he loves to do. It's this circuit thing, and so, not a circuit, it's just a run. And so basically, there's this massive hill, like if you see that hill right up, it's not that big, it's so massive, but like you climb up that hill, and then you cross the bridge, and then you go down that really tall slide in that corner. And there's usually like 7-year-olds doing it, but then this little Charlie wants to do it by himself. But me as an aunt, I care about him, and I care about his well-being and his life in general. So I'm thinking I need to go with him throughout this whole thing. And so I know, right? So there's this hill, so we're going up, and he can't do it by himself, and I don't want to carry him up. So I support him, and so imagine he's like this. I'm like on all threes, and I'm like pushing his rear end like this. On the floor, like pushing him up, and he's just basking in that, going up that hill. And then we get to the bridge. And then we're like, okay, this is like the easy part of the trek. We hold hands and we walk peacefully across the bridge and then to the slide. He tries to go to the slide, but I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I'm just imagining like a little body just. I was like, that just gives me so much anxiety. So what I do is, like all the kids are staring at me and I do it because I love my nephew, but I go in the slide, and then I'm like, okay, Charlie, sorry, you can come into my lap now and we can go down this thing, and I make sure he's safe, so I hold on to him and we go down the slide, and then when we reach the bottom, we do a little victory dance and we finish the circuit. And and we do that like 6 times. And so that is my workout for the year. And so usually by the 5.5 times that we've done it, I give this sign to my sister. I'm like, hey, we gotta get dinner. Let's get out here. I'm done with this. And then we leave, and then we get dinner, and it's a good time. But the reason why I tell this story, it helps you really visualize kind of God being with us. And as silly as it sounds, when I think about pushing up Charlie up that hill, I imagine God, literally on all threes, hair and face, pushing that body up that hill, and we're just basking in that, and he's supporting us through those walks in life when things are going uphill, and when we're going through that plateau, that bridge, that easy time, even though we don't need God, God is there holding our hand, wanting to be in it with us, and he desires so greatly to be a part of it. And then when we get to that slide, or whatever that slide means to you in your life, whether it be a transition or a time of just pain, anxiety, depression, or anything that's just ahead of you that you're worrying about, God goes before us, and he goes before us, and he says, come join me, and sit in my safety, and we're gonna go through this together. And so see how God, just in every season, not just Christmas, but in every season of life, God is with us. And for me, I give up at 5.5 rounds of this circuit, but to know that our Father goes on and on, over and over, these circuits for us, and to be with us, just because he desires to be with us and have a relationship with us. And so maybe you're in a place where everything is going well, and you feel so immensely blessed by community, and just you've been feeling, God's really pursuing me, and it's just so evident. Or maybe you're not in that area at all, and you're stuck in a rut, and in the midst of trying to discern what God's will is for you in this season. Or maybe you're just in a place where you're thinking like, is God withholding like goodness from me or grace and mercy? And maybe life is rough and just full of struggles of sickness, of grief, of loss, of pain, anxiety and depression, list goes on. I just want to acknowledge that we're like all in different places as Epic. And that's like totally okay. Like that's so fine. But I guess our hope for this quarter is that we would actually go through these topics that are hard to believe that God is with us. So this quarter we're going to be going through topics such as relationships, friendships, mental health, the pain in this world, our past, our present, our future, things that give us anxiety, and things where we lose sight of God being with us. Our aim as a large group team, our aim as a large group is that you could come here and be reminded that the Lord is in it with you. His pursuit in understanding you and loving you is like never ending. It just like doesn't stop. And his love is not one and done, one season and over, but over and over and on and on. I just hope that this time that we have this quarter would be something that's special to you, and that it would be something where you'd be just, again, reminded that, yeah, Jesus is in it with me, and like I have confidence in that he will guide me through this season. So with that being said, I'm just gonna invite worship team to come up, and any of this resonated with you tonight for the first time, I just want to invite you guys to take a step forward and say, yeah, Jesus, like, I want to be with you. Like, I want to say that tonight. Like, yes. Like, yes. Or if you're in a place where, like, I don't know, like, I think I need to take a step back, like, and just say, like, God, I've been missing out on what it means to be with you. I just want to invite you and challenge you to do that too. So I just want to also invite the prayer team too. If you are available, like please be on the sides. And if you are making a decision, either stepping forward and saying yes to Jesus, or taking a step back and realizing it and acknowledging something about God tonight, like I want you to go get prayer, and I want you to not have to go through that.